Welcome into the Steelers Talk live show here on a beautiful Wednesday. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and we've got a loaded show of Steelers News and Rumors content coming your way here over the next hour and a half or so. Welcome into the show to all the real ones. We already got 134 people watching live around the world, so thank you to all the real ones tuning in at the beginning of today's show. And on today's show, we got some great stuff lined up for you, man. We got the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. A couple more free agents have been linked to Pittsburgh here, so we're going to go over those two names. And then a new 7-round mock draft from ESPN just hit the presses today. Pretty darn good mock draft, if I do say so myself. We'll be breaking that down here in just a little bit. Also, we'll be going over my list of the top offensive tackle draft targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. My fifth Steelers 7-round mock draft. I'll be getting into that in our final segment today. And of course, we've got the live mailbag. So make sure you use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat down there in the chat right now to get on the show. Jeffrey Cooperstein, our producer. How we doing, my friend?
I didn't realize that when I came into work that we would be wearing the exact same thing today.
Yeah, so if you guys
This was not planned.
If you guys have not realized, Coop and I have the same exact sweatshirt on today. It looks a little different because you've got the light on you right now, but make no mistake.
It's the same one.
It's the same sweatshirt. We did not coordinate this. It's just one of those things where he wore his sweatshirt, I wore my sweatshirt. He doesn't have a shirt on underneath his sweatshirt.
Under my hoodie.
But by the way, that's so criminal, isn't it?
Let us know in the comments if you guys wear a shirt under your hoodie.
I mean, who doesn't wear a shirt under a hoodie?
Because it's comfortable.
It's comfortable. I would think it'd be less comfortable.
No, it's very much more comfortable.
I guess I've never tried it. Maybe I should try it.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Maybe when I'm watching a movie tonight, I'll try that out. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go.
We were listening to some Renegade before the show, getting ready.
Yeah, we were listening to some Renegade, getting ready. So let's see what the people in the chat have to say about this sweatshirt debacle. All right, so Cassie's here. Everyone say hi to Cassie, by the way. So Paranormal says he doesn't wear shirts underneath sweatshirts, but Raven World says, he says Steelers on top. Caleb says shirt must be worn under a hoodie. That's the way I've always done it. I guess I've never really thought to do sweatshirt as your only layer, but...
Oh, Miss Patty's here as well.
Oh, mother. Good to see you.
Hello, Miss G.
Patty Gustafson, Gold Club member here.
Yes, indeed.
Is joining us here on a beautiful Wednesday. Dominic is here. What's up, Dominic? Good to see you, my friend. Cam is here. Scott is here. Luke is here. Tori is here. Jacob Wizerak is here. Let's go. He says shirt required. It seems like, should we make this the new live poll?
We can make it the live poll.
Can we make it the new live poll? Is a shirt underneath a hoodie required? I think I've only seen one person.
I'm going to say, do you wear a shirt under your hoodie?
Because honestly, I've never heard of somebody before not wearing a shirt underneath a hoodie.
I never do. Never.
And I guess Coop never does. But
never.
I mean, I don't know, man. We all know Coop's a little bit weird, but that's why we love him.
I'm definitely a little messed up in the brain, but you know.
All right, man. So we got a bunch of great stuff coming your way this afternoon. But before we get into today's extensive Steelers coverage, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And Game Time is the only ticketing app that you need on your phone, and it is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Guys, I'm somebody that likes to get tickets last minute, all right? And, even when I like to get tickets in advance to like a concert with my girlfriend Cassie or something like that, I like to use Game Time because they have the lowest price guarantee and they've got flash deals right before game time. So even if you're someone like me that likes to get last minute tickets, you can get even lower price tickets when you wait till the last second. Of course, the Pittsburgh Penguins are in the middle of their season. You can get some tickets for that right now on the Game Time app. And Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase, which is why it's the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States of America. See the view from your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen. for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So let's talk about this for a little bit, Coop, okay? So you get Cordo Patterson yesterday.
Good signing, by the way.
Good signing. Maybe a little bit rich, $3 million per year for a 33-year-old running back.
He's a returner.
But he is a kickoff return specialist, and with the new rules coming, they're implementing the XFL kickoff rules here, in case you guys didn't know that. It seems like you're going to have a better... or you're going to have to really prioritize kickoff returns now instead of just having nobody back there like Godwin Agwimake and just take a touchback every time.
I can't believe they had Godwin returning kicks last year. That guy was so oblivious.
Oh, man. But now you have to transition here because you're going to have pretty much a return man that knows what he's doing, and Cordo Patterson is certainly that. So I like that. But let us know down there in the comment section right now, what player do you want the Steelers to add next, whether that be via trade, whether that be via free agency? Do you want Tyler Boyd, Brandon Ayuk? Do you want Justin Simmons? Who do you guys want now?
Bring the Yinzer home. Give me Tyler Boyd.
According to Jerry Dulac, they have no interest in Tyler Boyd.
So you know what that means?
He's a Pittsburgh Steeler! God, Jerry Dulac stinks, man. This offseason alone... He should lose
his job. I'm sorry.
He was the first one to report the Steelers aren't getting another quarterback. Guess what happens less than a month later? They didn't get just one new quarterback.
Well,
they got two. Actually, three technically with Kyle Allen. But then also he said no chance Dante Jackson gets traded. 8 days later, he gets traded. I mean, this guy has zero connection. This guy has zero connection to the Pittsburgh Steelers front office, and people talk about him like he is like the best insider in the city of Pittsburgh.
If this was 1997, I would trust Jerry Dulac with Steelers News and Rumors.
Well,
it's not.
I think his connection to the front office before was Kevin Colbert, and now Colbert is gone. So he has no connections to inside the building there anymore. And, he's still being brought out here as somebody that's in the know with the Steelers, and he just keeps getting stuff wrong. I kind of feel bad for the guy. All right, so on today's show, we're going to get into this first segment here in just a second. We're going to go over the latest news and rumors, a couple of free agents that have been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll talk about Tyler Boyd. We'll talk about Patrick Peterson, and then we'll also go into ESPN's 7-round Steelers mock draft that was just released today. Also, later in the show, I got my list of the top offensive tackle draft prospects for the Steelers to target this year. And then I've got my latest Steelers mock draft later in the show as well. And of course, we've got the mailbag. Use hashtag Steelers or Super Chat down there to get your question on this week's Q&A. So here are our Gold Club members here. You get a shout out on every single show. This list has gotten so long, guys, that we're just going to scroll through the names here. We're going to give you guys an opportunity to see all the names here. But I just want to say how much we appreciate every single person that has put in at least $100 on a singular stream. You guys are part of the reason that makes this community so awesome. Love the hell out of you. Thank you so much for all of your support. And for all these names that are currently on the Gold Club, you guys are just absolutely fantastic. I love you guys. And at the end of the day, man, this channel really couldn't exist without the support of our fans. So we want to thank you for allowing us to do what we love to do, and that's talk about Steelers football every single day. Now, a special shout out here to our Black Diamonds. These are the people that have put in $500 on a singular stream. These are the legends of Steelers Talk. So shout out to Sam Pugh, F1 Video Watcher, Nathan Glass, Kurgan Cold, Go Blue Buckeye, Elliptic 6, Gwendolyn, Marilyn Krieger, Omar's Burner, Kyle King, and KJ Live Life. Thank you guys so much for all of your support. And if you want to join Gold Club, it's $100 on today's stream. If you want to join the Black Diamond Club, it's $500 on today's stream. So I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. This is our Super Chat menu today. Any Super Chat, you're going to get on the mailbag. You're going to get a question on there. You're going to have your voice heard, and we'll react to whatever you have to say. Every $10 spent, not only for today's show, but also throughout the month of March. So this is our last live show for the month of March, Coop.
Yes, indeed.
So today it is raffle day, okay? So every $10 that is spent is going to go towards one raffle ticket, towards this hex head sign made out of metal It's one of the coolest prizes we've ever had here on Steelers Talk. It's three-dimensional, so it's got like that, the background there, which is just one piece, and then it comes and it like pops out. There's like that. The Steelers helmet is a separate piece that pops out, so it's three-dimensional. It's super cool, and just $10 puts you in the running to win this Hex Head sign. We appreciate the heck out of you guys.
Look at all the entries we
Look
have
at all
already.
the names already, baby. With all the breaking news and free agency and all that stuff, we've been getting a bunch of super chats. So thank you guys so much for all of your support. If you're not entered into the raffle just yet, go ahead and send in that $10 super chat, and not only will you get on the mailbag, but you'll also get into the raffle as well. So really do appreciate all of you guys. We also have the Hall of Fame helmet here. $20 super chats. You get your name on the hard hat or on the helmet Hall of Fame here. And I really do appreciate all of your guys' support. All right, so let's get into this first segment here. News and rumors for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are we good?
We're good. I just want to point out that apparently I'm in the vast minority on our live poll. 85% say shirt. I guess I'm just weird.
What did I tell you?
I guess I'm just freaking weird.
Although I will say, Coop, it does sound intriguing to me to try it without a shirt.
Try it once?
Because, like, the whole reason why you wear a sweatshirt is that it's comfy. So, like, why wouldn't you want that, like, comfort, like, all over your body? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what I'm saying, man.
I guess I've never really thought about it before. I've always just been taught you got to wear a sweatshirt with a shirt underneath. But you know what? That might be something to try out tonight.
Try it.
But, all right, man. Let's get into this first segment right now. We got 4 of them coming your way this afternoon. It's a loaded show. So without further ado, let's get into the latest news and rumors surrounding the Pittsburgh Steelers. Welcome into Steelers Talk. I am your host, Jack Sperry, and today on Steelers Talk, we got a slate of Steelers news and rumors to cover with you guys right here for free on YouTube. First, we're going to be getting into the latest Steelers free agency rumors. We'll talk about Tyler Boyd and Patrick Peterson, the latest reports around those 2 specific free agents. Then there's 2 new free agents that we haven't really talked about on the show all that much that have been linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers by ESPN. And then speaking of ESPN, they have a brand new 7-round mock draft for the Pittsburgh Steelers that just released today. So we'll go over that here in just a second, so make sure you stick around. But before we get into the Steelers content today, help us beat the Browns, man. Let's try to get to 1,000 likes on this video here, because the Browns report and Matthew Peterson just put up a video where they got 978 likes on their most recent video. All right, and Matthew Peterson was talking a lot of crap at the Chat Sports offices here, saying that there's no way the Pittsburgh Steelers can break that record. This is what Matthew Peterson has had to say recently about the Steelers. Steelers fans are laughably dumb, thinking Russ and Fields are gonna come save them. Just imagine how far the Browns would have made it last year if Watson stayed healthy. Talking about Deshaun Watson. Probably win the Super Bowl. I can't wait to see Steelers fans watch their team go down the toilet next year. So obviously this is somebody that has no respect for the Pittsburgh Steelers or our beloved fan base. So do me a favor right now. Coop, tell them why they should click that thumbs up icon.
He's an absolute bum. And if you think that we should fucking to him in a like battle, you're a joke. So hit the like button right now if you guys are about that life. F the Browns. It's always F the Browns and Deshaun Watson every single day of the freaking week, baby.
Couldn't have said it any better myself, Coop. So let's get into our first story today, starting with Jerry Dulac of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, who claims that the Pittsburgh Steelers are not interested in free agent wide receiver Tyler Boyd and NFL free agency. This is what Dulac had to say recently about getting Boyd. I don't know if the Steelers were ever really alive on Tyler Boyd. You will see a wide receiver drafted high, probably round 2, unless a big trade materializes, and I don't see that happening now. So Steelers Nation, you know what this means. The Steelers are going to make a big move at wide receiver. Let's go, because Jerry Dulac was wrong on Dante Jackson. He said that he wasn't going to be, there was a 100% chance he's going to be a Steeler next year. 8 days later, he's traded. Then with the quarterback situation, he was the first one to say Steelers aren't bringing in a quarterback. Not only do they bring in one guy in Russell Wilson, but then they trade for Justin Fields and they ship Kenny Pickett out of here. So Jerry Dulac, I don't believe a single word that this guy says. I don't think that he has any sort of connections inside of the Pittsburgh Steelers building. And if he says Tyler Boyd is not a Pittsburgh Steelers, chances are he probably is. So now what's going to happen? Let me know down there in the comments section. How are the Pittsburgh Steelers going to address the wide receiver room this offseason? Because right now you got George Pickens, Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, and Calvin Austin III, but you still need another piece in there. So where do you think they're going to address that? Type T, if you think a trade is going to happen. Type F, if you think they're going to get a guy in free agency, or type D if you think they're going to address it in the NFL draft. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. So now another report here is that the Steelers are looking to potentially reunite with Patrick Peterson after letting him loose earlier this offseason. Of course, his cap hit was going to be rather large if they would have kept him on the roster, so they ended up cutting him. But it seems like what Patrick Peterson is saying and now what the Steelers are saying, it seems like there's mutual interest to bring back the former number one corner here in Pittsburgh to play next year. Now, I don't think he'd be playing as a corner, all right? They brought in Dante Jackson. They have Joey Porter Jr., and I do think they're going to get some more young talent in the draft at that position. I think that Patrick Peterson really lost his legs last year, really lost his speed, and where he played his best was at safety. So could he come back as like a backup rotational type safety alongside Minkah Fitzpatrick and Deshaun Elliott? Sure, for a super cheap contract, like less than $3 million per season, yeah, Pete, I'll take your experience. I'll take your locker room presence. I'll take all the positives involved with having you on the team. But you're going to have to take a lesser role on the defense, probably just a rotational role as a safety. And then also you're going to have to play for a super cheap contract. If those are terms that Pat is willing to take, I'd love to have him back with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But if he wants a larger role, if he wants a larger contract, it's Audi 5000, my friend. I'm sorry, you're not going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now, coming up here, 2 free agents that ESPN has linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers here in NFL free agency. Some pretty interesting names here. A couple guys we haven't talked a whole lot about on the show as of late. But before we get into that, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time. And Game Time is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Now, guys, I'm personally somebody that likes to get tickets last minute. I'll just be sitting here at my office here at Chat Sports, and I'll be like, you know what? I want to go to an NBA basketball game tonight or a concert with my girlfriend, Cassie. So all I do is I take out my Game Time app, I peruse their really easy-to-use interface, and then they have the lowest price guarantee, all right? So you get the lowest price. You don't have to shop around on all these different ticketing apps. And then if you're someone like me that likes to get tickets last minute, Game Time has flash deals right before the event, so you can get even lower price tickets the closer you wait to the event. It's absolutely fantastic, guys, and there's a reason why Game Time is the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States of America. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, another great feature, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the arena. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. One word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. So let's get into these two free agents in the NFL that are still available that ESPN has linked to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And we'll start with probably my favorite of the two here, and that's David Bakhtiari, the longtime left tackle for the Green Bay Packers. He says he still wants to play. At this point in his career, he's definitely looking to win titles, and he might be willing to take a discount to come to a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is what Bill Barnwell from ESPN had to say about this fit. In terms of starting left tackle opportunities, the Steelers seem like the obvious fit for Bakhtiari. Broderick Jones, a first-rounder in 2023, might not yet be seasoned enough to move to the left side, and while Dan Moore has improved at left tackle, the Steelers could stand to give him some competition. Russell Wilson and Justin Fields are going to need all the help they can get, and taking a shot on a potential franchise left tackle on a one-year deal with incentives is the sort of swing Pittsburgh should take, given what it's saving on spending at quarterback. So listen, man, I would love to bring in David Bakhtiari. Not only is Bakhtiari one of the best left tackles in football when healthy, but also it opens up the possibilities for the Steelers in the NFL draft. If you have Bakhtiari on your roster, maybe you don't have to feel like you have to take a tackle in the first round of the NFL draft, all right? It opens up your opportunities, and you could even afford to not take a tackle early if Bakhtiari is on your roster. And we already know Dan Moore Jr., if called upon, if David Bakhtiari gets hurt again, we know Moore has experience at left tackle with this football team, and he'd be a good swing tackle option on the last year of his contract. Now, the second player that ESPN connects to the Steelers, I like this one a lot less, is Hunter Renfrow, the slot wide receiver formerly with the Las Vegas Raiders. This is what Barnwell had to say about this potential fit. Dante Jackson has been traded to the Panthers, and while the Steelers signed Van Jefferson, the former Rams wideout hasn't been effective for most of his pro career. Renfrow would compete with Calvin Austin for reps as the team's third receiver and return man. Now, personally, this would be disappointing for me, all right, because I mean, if you have Van Jefferson, Quez Watkins, and Hunter Renfrow to kind of fill out the rest of your, and of course Calvin Austin III to fill out the rest of your wide receiver ranks, that's a lot of mediocrity there next to George Pickens. And listen, George is a legit number one, in my opinion, but you got to get somebody to get those double teams off of him. And Hunter Renfrow, he's not a good blocker. He's a slot-only guy. He's not a great athlete. There's a reason why Las Vegas let him go. All right, now he's a decent route runner, and that's fine, but I don't see him as a fit for this Arthur Smith offense. I really don't see any way the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be interested in Hunter Renfrow. Now, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon right now if you are a real one. You watch all of our shows. You support the channel. It's because of people like you that we get to do what we love to do every single day, and that's talk Steelers football. So make sure you click that thumbs up icon to make this video the best it can be today. So now, let's go over the 7-round mock draft that ESPN's Matt Miller just put out for all 32 NFL teams. Man, Matt Miller's been busy lately, man, going through all 32 teams, all 7 rounds. That's definitely not something I would want to do, but Matt Miller definitely put in the work here. And let's start with the first pick that he makes for the Steelers in round 1, which is Oregon center Jackson Powers Johnson. He's my number 1 ranked center in this class. He is fantastic. He marriages a perfect blend of power, athleticism, and technique. If the top tackles are off the board in this year's NFL draft class, I have no problem with Jackson Powers Johnson being the pick in round 1. Then in round 2, he goes wide receiver here to a guy in Malachi Corley from Western Kentucky who's being he's being compared to Deebo Samuel and Rashee Rice, and that's definitely his skill set, man. He's not going to be like a downfield threat or an incredible route runner, but he's somebody that if you get the ball to him in open space or on jet sweeps or whatever the case may be, a good screen guy, he's going to get those yards after the catches, and he's a big guy, strong guy, good run blocker. This makes sense for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and actually they have a top 30 visit planned with Malachi Corley right now, so this could actually happen as well. Then in round 3, Matt Miller gives the Steelers Christian Jones, right tackle out of Texas. And this one makes a lot of sense to me as well. I have a 3rd-round grade on Christian, a really good week at the Senior Bowl. He was one of the best, if not the best, in the one-on-ones all week long. And I think that he's a polished right tackle that's probably ready to play right away. So if you get him, you can move Broderick over to the left side. You can plug Christian in as the starting right tackle right away. And, some places have him going round 4, round 5. I actually think he's a round 3 type of guy, so I don't mind Miller taking him in round 3 here. Then with the second 3rd-round pick, Miller has the Steelers taking Renardo Green, cornerback out of Florida State. And you guys know, if you've been watching my mock drafts, that I've had Renardo to the Steelers multiple times in a number of my mock drafts to this point. Really good in press man coverage, a little bit undersized, but I think he would turn into a great running mate for Joey Porter Jr. as the number 2 corner in the years to come. Now listen, if these ended up being the 4 picks that the Steelers ended up starting their NFL draft with, I would be extremely happy, man. You're addressing offensive tackle, you're addressing center, you're addressing wide receiver, and you're addressing corner. Those are the 4 biggest needs on this football team that need to be addressed by the end of day 2, at least in my opinion. And Matt Miller definitely knocked all these out of the park, at least in my opinion. Then we get to the last 3 picks here, starting with the round 4 pick at number 119. And he's going to take Gabe Hall, defensive tackle out of Baylor. And I really like this pick as well. I think Gabe Hall is a really good interior pass rusher. I think he's somebody that could potentially become an every down starter for the Steelers. But if you get him in round 4, you're bringing him in to learn from guys like Cam Hayward and Larry Ogunjobi and kind of be a rotational piece and kind of take Armon Watts' spot on the defensive line rotation from last year. I think Gabe Hall is somebody with enough potential to take here in round 4. I think he's going to be a pretty decent pass rusher for you on the later downs and in pass rush situations next year. Then in round 6, he has the Steelers taking Edefuan Halufosio. I hope I'm saying that right. It's definitely a tongue twister there. But this guy, he's an older inside linebacker. He's undersized, but he is really good in coverage. He's played a lot of football. Of course, he's coming from a good pedigree there with the Washington Huskies. He had a really good combine performance, and I do think that here in round 6, this is something the Steelers will consider because there are some kind of undersized but good pass coverage linebackers available here on day 3 in this year's draft class that I think they're going to consider. I would say Edefuan is one of the guys that they will absolutely keep their eye on. Then also with another round 6 pick here, Matt Miller has the Steelers finishing up his mock draft for the black and gold by taking Colorado wide receiver Xavier Weaver. All right. And listen, this is a fine pick. You know, at this point, the wide receivers that you're going to get are not at the same value as you're going to get in rounds 2 or 3. But listen, man, this team already picked up Malachi Corley. So I really do like this mock draft haul from Matt Miller. And honestly, with all the different Steelers mock drafts that I get presented with every single day, at the end of the day, man, this is one of the best that I've seen from, especially someone from a major media company, all right? You're addressing center, wide receiver, offensive tackle, and corner within the first 2 days of the draft. I think all those guys could be really good players in this league, and I have no qualms about that. And then you're getting a guy in round 4 in Gabe Hall who's going to be a contributor for you right away, and then Edefuan Halufosio, man, that's going to be a tough one for me, man, but I really like him as a player, especially as a rotational inside linebacker. And then Xavier Worthy is a fine 6th-round wide receiver. So grade this mock from ESPN's Matt Miller, A, B, C, D, or F for me down there in the comment section. I'm going to give him an A. I mean, as these big name mock drafts go, I think that it's better than the guys like Daniel Jeremiah's and the Mel Kiper Jr.'s and the Field Yates's, at least so far, because a lot of those guys don't really have a good grasp of what the Steelers need. I think that Matt Miller actually did a really good job at addressing what the Steelers need and how they're going to go about doing that. So make sure you guys click that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really do appreciate all of your support. That's going to be it for today's show. But again, make sure you click that subscribe button to never miss any of our free Steelers coverage all throughout the 2024 offseason. All right, first cut, done, and out of the way, Coop. Our mailbag is coming up here shortly. I did see we got some super chats.
We did indeed.
So if you want to guarantee your spot on the mailbag, make sure you super chat, all right? I don't want to see anybody complaining down in the chat that they didn't get their question on the show if you didn't super chat.
That's right.
All right? Like, at the end of the day, like, the only way you guarantee your spot is if you super chat, because there's a bunch of people that submit questions. We can't answer everybody's questions, all right? So if you want to guarantee your spot on the show, super chat along with your question, or you can play the odds and put your question alongside hashtag Steelers. $10 super chat here from Robert Bustamante.
You're in the raffle, Robert.
You're in the raffle, Robert. And by the way, first time super chatter, so let's give him some Rick Flair drip. Woo! We got another one?
Yes, we do. I'm just adding him to the raffle real quick.
Okay, cool.
That's a hell of a last name.
Luke Mack says, I would super chat, but I'm 14 and broke. It's all good.
All good, brother, man.
It's all good, my friend. It's all good, man. Thanks for being a real one. Thanks for watching the show. You know, we understand that some people, can't super chat and all that different stuff, and we completely understand. We just love that you guys have the passion for this football team that you do.
Yes, indeed.
And whether or not you super chat or not, we appreciate the people that do, but we appreciate the people that don't as well. We love everybody here at Steelers Talk. All right, we got a Gold Club member here, Steelers Dad, with a $10 super chat. What's up, Steelers Dad? Says, F the Browns. Hit the like button,
sir.
Steelers Nation. All right, so when that video comes out, all right, it's going to be coming out after the live show today.
That's correct.
All right, make sure you have your notifications turned on so that when that video gets out, you click that thumbs up icon, all right? So the video that we're going to be pushing out later, that's the one we just filmed. Make sure you go to that video, click that thumbs up icon, and help us beat the Browns this week, all right? Because F those guys.
We're going to use this as our like driver in the mailbag.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, we need a couple more questions, so make sure you use #Steelers or Super Chat to get on today's show, and then we will get going with our mailbag.
Absolutely. Absolutely. #Steelers or Super Chat to get on the show.
Cassie says, watching the show, waiting to board my plane. Cassie is going home for the weekend.
And by the way, if she submits a question, you put it on the freaking mailbag.
Not if she's not watching.
But she will be watching.
She said she's waiting to board.
Oh, Meech coming in with a $10 Super Chat. Guess what, Meech? You're in the raffle. Let's go.
Big Meech.
Meech coming in with a $10 Super Chat. Says training camp going to be crazy this year. Can't wait. And by the way, Coop and I were actually starting, or in the early stages
We're planning on it.
We're planning on a trip to Pittsburgh. We're going to spend a weekend at Steelers training camp. So we'll let you guys know the details when we iron that out.
Cassie says no questions today.
Cassie says no questions today. All right. Well, Coop and I will be at Steelers training camp at some point. Hopefully. Unless our bosses straight up tell us no.
If they shadow ban us, then maybe not, but hopefully they don't.
But last year I was able to go with Cassie, and that was a really good experience. And, it was I thought it was electric when it was Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky as the quarterbacks. Just imagine how electric it's going to be, Coop, when it's Russell Wilson and Justin Fields walking out of that tunnel and running onto the field, man. It's just going to be unbelievable. Coop's never been to Pittsburgh.
I have not.
So, I want to bring him there, take him to Primanti Brothers. We'll go to Latrobe, and we'll probably catch a Pirates game or two as well during that weekend. So we'll let you guys know when we're headed to Pittsburgh. We might even organize like a get-together or something like that if you guys want to do something like that.
Primanti Brothers is a must.
Primanti Brothers is a must. A Pirates game is a must.
Yes.
And then probably multiple days at Steelers training camp.
Oh, yeah.
That'd just be awesome, man, because Coop, you've never been there, but
I've not.
It's pretty much like at a high school, like college type stadium.
That's what I hear.
And then like you can get like your chairs and your blankets, and you can sit on the hills too. Just awesome, man. It's like a carnival. They got a bunch of games there. They've got stores. It's a whole ordeal, man. It's so fun to be there. There's so much passion and so much love for this football team in Latrobe. I can't wait to go back this year, man. It's going to be awesome.
Oh, it'll be a blast, and I hope we get to see some of you guys out there as well. I can't wait. Scott says I'm in for a treat. Yeah, I'm excited, man. That'd be awesome to go see all you guys out there, go see the Yinzas. It'd be a fun time.
Just wait till you see how some of the people in Pittsburgh talk.
Oh, I know.
Because sometimes it throws you for a loop, man. You're like, what the hell are they saying? But I absolutely love it. That's my city, man. I try to make it there at least once a year. I love going to PNC. It's the best ballpark in America. And we'll probably have to do a tour of Acrisure as well.
Absolutely.
That was a lot of fun.
It looks like we have a fraud Browns fan in the chat. Mark Smith saying, go Browns. Yeah, good luck with Deshaun Watson, buddy.
Yeah, good luck with Deshaun Watson, man. Goodness gracious.
All right. You ready to get into today's mailbag episode?
All right, let's get into the Q&A here. Can't wait to see what questions you got for me. Without further ado, let's get into the Steelers Talk mailbag for this week. Coming at you right now. The NFL offseason continues to rage on, and right now I'm going to be answering your questions on the Pittsburgh Steelers here in the middle, about a month away from the NFL draft. So I'm sure we're going to get a lot of draft questions today. I can't wait to see what you guys got for me. But before I start taking these questions, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now to join the most interactive Steelers YouTube community right here on the platform, 100% free. We have weekly Steelers Talk live shows every single Wednesday starting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where you guys have the opportunity to ask your questions, get your voice heard on the show, and then make these mailbags. So I really do appreciate all of your support. I want to give you guys a voice here every single week for our weekly mailbags. So I really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And with that, let's pause and open it up for questions. So Joe L. says, what's up with Tyler Boyd? So there was reports out there that the Steelers and Boyd were talking and that they were relatively close on a deal, but it seems like the money is what is kind of the sticking point here. Tyler wants to get paid a certain amount of money. The Steelers aren't willing to give him that, and right now that's kind of the sticking point. So now will Tyler come down from his price? Will the Steelers go up from their price? Who knows what's going to happen, but man, it would just be an awesome story for the city of Pittsburgh and Pittsburgh sports in general if Tyler Boyd, the former Pitt Panther and Pittsburgh native, returns home and tries to win a Super Bowl here with the black and gold. I think he's a good fit for this offense. Might not be the most dynamic receiver in the world, but he certainly would be a welcomed addition to this wide receiver room, in my opinion. Then we got one from Scott Gilbert. What's up, Scott? Says, who do you think would be a great fit at center in the draft for the Steelers? Would love to see them get Justin Simmons. I'd love to see them get Justin Simmons as well. You got to get him for the right price because I'm okay with Minka and Deshaun being kind of the two main guys. I would love to get Justin for like less than $10 million if you can do that. Cut DeMonte KZ, you can save $3 million by doing that. And then kind of use that $3 million plus some extra cash to go get Justin Simmons. And that would make the best safety trio in the National Football League. When it comes to the center position, Jackson Powers-Johnson is the best overall fit because he's the best overall center. But I do think Cedric Van Pran out of Georgia is probably the number 2 best fit. Now, there's other guys out there that can certainly start for the Steelers right away. Zach Frazier out of West Virginia. Graham Barton out of Duke might be a dark horse at that number 20 overall spot in round 1. But Jackson Powers-Johnson is probably the favorite and probably the number 1 draft fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers at that position. Then we got one from X-Looky. Says, do you think a trade for Cortland Sutton is in play? Already has a great connection with Russ. I don't. And as much as I would entertain it, especially for like a second or third, maybe fourth round pick, I just don't think the Denver Broncos want to unload him, right? They just traded Jerry Jeudy. Cortland Sutton is still relatively young. He's a big receiver that's really good in those contested ball situations. I think they want to keep him around because he's still, like I said, he's still young. He can be a building block for that rebuild that they're doing there in Denver. So I don't think the Broncos would be willing to trade him. But if you can get him for a third or a fourth round pick, he, like you said, he already has that connection with Russ. You get 2 big, good run-blocking wide receivers, put them on the other side of George Pickens. I wouldn't mind it. I just don't think the Broncos are going to come to the table. Now, let me know down there in the comments section, would you trade a round 2 pick for Cortland Sutton? Give me a yes or a no. Personally, I'm going to say no to this one, but this is going to be the pinned comment on today's show, so YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me a yes or no down there in the comments section. And we got $10 super chat from my man, Just Webb's World. And he says, I'm curious if Kool-Aid is the best press man corner in the draft, and we need one because Dante Jackson isn't a long-term option. Why aren't we trying to get him when there's a steep fall at cornerback, unlike center? So I would say that the cornerback class, it's interesting because I wouldn't necessarily say it's a bad class. And there's definitely fits in like round 2 or 3 that the Steelers could go get. All right, but it's definitely true that there are like 3 of the top guys in this class: Cooper DeJean, Quinion Johnson, or Quinion Mitchell, my fault. And what's the one I'm missing here? Nate Wiggins out of Clemson. So those are definitely the 3 best, and there's a little bit of a cliff after that. But to answer your question here, Just Webb's World, I don't think they want to get corner because they're still trying to build the trenches. All right, and you look at the history of guys like Omar Khan that come from that Howie Roseman executive tree. They like to go trenches in round 1. It's just the way that it works, man. Unless they have 2 first-round picks, they're usually spending their lone first-round pick on an offensive or defensive lineman. And the Steelers have 2 major needs at 2 offensive line spots. All right, so that's really what it comes down to. I think the Steelers like Dante Jackson. I'm not sure if they view him as a short-term option. But I do think that they're going to draft a corner at some point on day 2. I don't think you have to worry about that. And honestly, with that foot injury to Kool-Aid, it's definitely possible that he may even fall to number 51. How great would that be? Then we got one from Paranormal in the Funhouse. Says, would you take DJ Chark or take Michael Gallup in free agency? So is Michael Gallup still wow, okay. I thought he got picked up. So if I had to choose between the 2 of them, I'll probably go with DJ Chark. I don't love either one of them. Neither of them are like great route runners. They're more bigger receivers, possession-type receivers, red zone threats. Now, they're bigger and they're good run blockers, so that fits what Arthur Smith wants. But I'm not sure if those guys are necessarily in play. I guess we'll have to see on that. I think the Steelers might have been a little bit interested in DJ Chark when he was coming out. So we'll see on Chark's status. But right now, I'd say it's probably more likely the Steelers take a receiver on day 2 of the NFL draft, and that's their number 2 receiver option. Now, before we get into the rest of this week's questions, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Fanatics. And listen, man, the Russell Wilson era, it's just getting started here in Pittsburgh. If you want to get Russell Wilson's officially licensed number 3 Pittsburgh Steelers jersey today, still available on the Chat Sports or on the Fanatics website when you go to chatsports.com/Russ. Again, that is chatsports.com/Russ. When you use that link, it tells Fanatics that we sent you, so we really do appreciate your support. So make sure you get that Russell Wilson jersey in your collection today by going to chatsports.com/Russ. Then we got one from Clayton here. What's up, Clayton? It says, can you do an early Steelers record for this year? If I'd have to guess right now, 12 wins. I'd say Russell Wilson compared to Kenny Pickett gets you 2 more wins. Is that unreasonable with how great this defense is going to be? I mean, barring injuries, of course. Like, we don't know what's going to happen in that department. But this was a 10-win team last year with arguably the worst quarterback play in the game. And now you're adding Russell Wilson, who had a better passer rating, touchdown percentage, than Patrick Mahomes last year. And I'm not saying he's better than Mahomes, but like if he has a better passer rating than the best quarterback in football, maybe he doesn't suck, right? Like, I mean, I feel like people talk about Russell Wilson like he's terrible, but now he's going into a system with lots of play action. Russell Wilson was the number 1 rated quarterback in football last year when playing with play action. He's got a great number 1 receiver in George Pickens. Who knows what other weapon they're going to get him this offseason? We know how the con artist works. I think that the Steelers' offense is going to be a lot better. When you pair that with the elite defense that they have currently, I'm going to say 12 wins, maybe 13 wins, and they're going to challenge Baltimore for the division crown. Then we got one from Dominic here. What's up, Dominic? Good to see you, man. It says, what do you think the Steelers will draft at 20, center or offensive tackle? And at the second-round pick, if Roman Wilson and Xavier Legette are there, who you choosing? So at number 20, it's an interesting conversation, right? Because the Steelers need center more than they need offensive tackle, all right? I understand that argument. That's probably the best argument for taking center at 20. Plus, I do think Jackson Powers-Johnson is going to be available at number 20, so he's going to be available for you. But at the end of the day, man, offensive tackle is a more valuable position. And right now, I do not want Dan Moore Jr. to be that option next year. I mean, this offense is going to rely on the run game and protecting Russell Wilson because he likes to hold the ball for quite a bit. So you need good offensive tackle play. And I don't trust Dan Moore Jr. to be that. So if you have a Talisi Fuaga or an Amarius Mims waiting for you there at number 20, I'd probably take a tackle over center personally, but I understand why people would want center. And then when it comes to Wilson versus Legette, I will take, that's a tough decision, but I'll take Legette because I saw what Arthur Smith was able to do with A.J. Brown in Tennessee, and Xavier Legette reminds me so much of A.J. Brown. I would just love to see what Legette, that big body with the great run blocking, taking a slant to the house. I think that'd be perfect. And the accent is perfect, producer Coop is telling me. So pick a spot for me down there in the comments section. What should Pittsburgh prioritize in round 1? Do you think they should prioritize center, type C, or offensive tackle, type OT for me down there in the comments section? Then we got another $10 super chat here from Steelers Dad. Says, F the Browns, hit that like button, Steelers Nation. I love it, Steelers Dad. Always love hating on the Browns on this channel. They suck. I mean, for a franchise that hasn't won literally anything since the merger, I mean, they do a lot of shit talking. I mean, we know this, all right? So let's show them right now. Click that thumbs up icon if you hate the Browns. Everybody that doesn't like the video is clearly a closeted Browns fan in disguise, all right? Then we got a $5 super chat from Just Webster. It says, what do you think about Johnny Wilson in the third? Because he's 6'7", like Darnell, and I expect him to slide like he can run block and be a red zone threat. So Johnny Wilson is definitely intriguing because, like you said, he's 6'7", and he runs like a deer. Could potentially move to tight end, honestly, but honestly, he was pretty darn good as a wide receiver at Florida State. So he's going to try it out in the league at 6'7". That is a massive frame. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, but he has some drop issues. He doesn't have the best change of direction, which really limits what he can do as a route runner. I think there's probably better overall players in round 3. Now, if he falls to like round 4, round 5, okay, maybe we can start thinking about that. But I want somebody with a little bit more juice, a little bit more wiggle than Johnny Wilson, even though I wouldn't cry about it if the Steelers ended up taking him. Then we got one from Eden Hazard. Says, how far do you think Russ can take this team next year? So, for sure, a playoff win. All right, I think that last year you're in the game with Mason Rudolph, who had a 80.0 passer rating in that football game against the Bills on the road in the playoffs. All right, so you put Russell Wilson on that team. Even with T.J. Watt out, I think it's definitely more of a ball game in the fourth quarter. And I think you might even walk away with a win with the ability that Russ has to deliver clutch victories in the postseason. He's played in 16 playoff games in his career. He's won 9 of them. He's been to 2 Super Bowls, and he nearly won both. All right, so he's been in that big moment. And the thing about the Steelers is that the roster is so good, they don't need Russell Wilson to be better than Patrick Mahomes. They don't need him to be better than Josh Allen. They don't need him to be better than Lamar Jackson. They just need him to be a top 15 level quarterback that protects the football, can throw the ball down the field from time to time, and then deliver in the clutch. That's what Russell Wilson does. All right, so I really do think that Russ could potentially get this team to a Super Bowl championship. That's the top. All right, am I saying that's a likelihood? No, I'd put it at like a 5% chance right now. But a 5% chance is a hell of a lot better than a 0% chance with Kenny Pickett, or let's be honest here, Justin Fields, because he doesn't have any playoff experience, all right, and he's still learning. So Russell Wilson definitely gives the Pittsburgh Steelers the best fighting chance to win a Super Bowl, and I do think that's how far he could take the Steelers next year. So let me know down there in the comments section, how far will Russell Wilson take the Pittsburgh Steelers in 2024? Do you think he's a Super Bowl caliber quarterback still, or do you think it's kind of capped what the Steelers can do with him under center? Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. I want to hear your opinions. Well, that's going to be it for today's show. I appreciate every single one of you guys that submitted questions and made it to the end of today's show. Make sure you click that subscribe button and make sure you join us 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single Wednesday for Steelers Talk Live, where we do these mailbags. All right. 2 down,
yes,
2 to go, Mr. Coop.
Yes, sir.
So how far do you think Russell Wilson could take the Steelers?
The Steelers could be playing in New Orleans next February.
It's not unreasonable.
No, it's really not.
If they stay healthy. I mean, we saw what that offense looked like with Mason Rudolph. And listen, I appreciate what Mason did. All right, but there's a reason why teams around the league wouldn't even take a flyer on him last offseason.
They won 10 games with games started by Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky, Mason Rudolph.
Well, they won 0 games started by Mitch Trubisky. That's how bad that guy was.
And they still made the postseason.
And they still won 10 games. So you add Russell Wilson, who is one of the best play-action passers in the league. He was number 1 in quarterback rating last year with play-action, by the way. Guess what Arthur Smith likes to do?
Play-action.
Pretty much all play-action. So Russell Wilson is in the perfect offense for his skill set. Then he doesn't turn the ball over. All right, he's got one of the lowest interception percentages in league history, and he's only had more than 11 interceptions once in his career.
He's top 10 in in fourth quarter game-winning drives?
Top 10 in game-winning drives and fourth quarter comebacks in NFL history.
Super Bowl.
So he's one of the best. So he's one of the most clutch quarterbacks in history, right? Uh-oh.
Interruption. Nathan Glass in the chat.
Oh!
And he says, I'm planning a trip to training camp as well. Hope to see you there. Mr. Glass, if we are at training camp at the same time, we'll be seeing you.
Nathan, I don't know if you were here before, but Coop and I are planning a trip to Pittsburgh or to Latrobe to go watch Justin Fields and Russell Wilson live and in the flesh, baby.
Let's go.
It's going to be fun. I can't wait to see you guys there, man. Last year, a couple people came up to me, said they liked the show and all these different things. You guys know who you are. I appreciate your support. But this year, with Coop right next to me, I mean, I think there's going to be even more people that are like, that's the Steelers.
We'll have some fun, no doubt about it.
It's going to be a lot of fun, man. I can't wait for it. I can't wait to see some of your guys' faces and watch some Steelers football with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields battling it out.
It's crazy to even think that those two are the quarterbacks of the Steelers.
Especially because a month ago, we were like, oh, all the reports are saying it's going to be Pickett.
Exactly.
And you would have 0% chance of winning the Super Bowl next
none.
year. Like, it's just a good feeling to have these guys in our quarterback room, man. All right, so let's get into our next segment here. We got 2 more to go. We're going to get into offensive tackle draft targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, and we still have my 5th 7th-round Steelers mock draft to come later on today's show. So, Coop, we ready to get things going here? Game time on this one, yes. All right, let's get into it right now. 2024 draft targets at the offensive tackle position for your Pittsburgh Steelers. The NFL draft is now less than a month away, so now it's time to really ramp up these positional ranking videos for the Pittsburgh Steelers here. So today, it's offensive tackles. We're going to be breaking down the top OT targets for the Pittsburgh Steelers in the 2024 NFL Draft on today's edition of Steelers Talk. But really, guys, this is just getting started with the draft content, all right? Over the next month or so, we're really going to be going ham on these draft videos, the latest Steelers draft news and rumors, all the guys that are being connected to the Pittsburgh Steelers, in-depth scouting reports on the top draft targets in the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of sites here, positional ranking videos just like this one, weekly mock drafts, and oh yeah, it's all 100% free. So if you want the most in-depth and extensive Steelers draft coverage here on YouTube, 100% free, all you got to do is click that subscribe button right now. So let's start with my number 1 offensive tackle here in this year's class, and that's Joe Alt from Notre Dame. I have a top 10 grade on him, and guys, he's probably going to be gone by 20. All right, I see there's no way possible that Joe Alt is available for the Steelers at number 20. All right, I just put him on this video because he's my number 1 guy, and I'm guessing he's probably going to go within the top 10 at some point, probably top 7, honestly. Then we got Alu Fashanu out of Penn State. Now, if he would have came out last year, I think Fashanu would have probably been the number 1 offensive tackle over Paris Johnson Jr. Last year. I have a top 10 grade on him now. Arguably the best pass protector from the left side out of any tackle in this year's class. And he will also likely be gone at number 20. Now, there's some outlets like Pro Football Focus that have Alu kind of ranked a little bit lower because he's not the best run blocker in the world. So I guess there's an outside chance he gets to 20, probably higher than Alt's chance of making it to 20. But at the end of the day, I think that with it being a pass-heavy league, Fashanu's pass-protecting skill set is going to be valuable. Don't expect him to be there at number 20 either. Then we got Troy Fautanu as my number 3 tackle. Now, Fautanu can't play right guard. He's pretty much only a left tackle only. Could kick into guard if needed. I have a top 15 grade on him. He's got long enough arms to play on the outside in the National Football League. I think that he's going to go a lot earlier than people are expecting him. Watch out for him to the Saints at number 14, by the way. But I really don't think the Steelers would necessarily have Fautanu as on their radar because I think they want more of a right tackle. They want to move Broderick Jones over to the left side eventually, and Fautanu is more of just a left tackle as opposed to somebody that can play on the right side. So would you rather? Let me know down there in the comments section. Pick an offensive tackle to play left or right tackle. Let me know down there in the comments section. Do you want to keep Broderick over there on the right side, or do you want to move him back over to the left and then draft a replacement for him on the right side? Type LT if you want to draft a left tackle, or type RT if you want to go get someone on the right. All right, so now let's get into the right tackles here. 4 and 5 are both right tackles. Amarius Mims has unbelievable film and an unbelievable physical profile. When you combine those two, you might have an argument that he's the best offensive tackle in this class, period. However, Mims is somebody with an injury history. He didn't really play all that much in college because he was always hurt, and that scares some people with Amarius Mims. But, I think when you look at a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, they love their Georgia Bulldogs. They just took Broderick Jones last year in the first round. They traded up for him. And if Amarius Mims is sitting right there for the taking there at number 20, somebody with this kind of pedigree, I absolutely think Mike Tomlin and Omar Khan would pull that trigger. I got a round 1 grade on him. And then I also have a round 1 grade on Talisi Fuaga out of Oregon State, and he is probably the best true run-blocking right tackle in this year's draft. Now, Amarius Mims is also very good in that category, but Fuaga has just another level of nastiness to his run blocking. The reason why Mims is above Fuaga on my list is because Mims mirrors better and has better balance in his pass protecting sets. Fuaga is still a little bit raw in that category. I still think he's a really good player, could go in the top 15 as well. And I think if either Amarius Mims or Talisi Fuaga, the two best right tackles in this year's NFL draft class, are sitting there, I think that's probably going to be the pick, especially if the Steelers don't pick up an offensive tackle in NFL free agency like a David Bakhtiari or a Donovan Smith. All right, if this is a need and you have one of the top guys in the class in your sights, I think that's something that Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin are going to pull the trigger on. So now, I do think that this is a position that's too important to ignore in the early rounds. I don't think you can go offensive tackle in round 3 or 4 or 5 and expect that person to start week 1 or even in year 1. All right, I think offensive tackle is one of those positions where you need to get a really high-end prospect if you want them to start right away in the league, just because there's so many elite edge rushers in this league right now. You have to be able to hold up in pass protection. There's just not a whole lot of guys coming out that can do that. So I really do think offensive tackle needs to be in round 1 or round 2. And still to come on today's show, we still got my numbers 6 through 13 in this year's NFL draft class when it comes to offensive tackles. But before I reveal those to you here in just a second, let's have a word from our sponsor here at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Baseball is just around the corner here, guys. So if you want to go to PNC Park, if you're living in the Pittsburgh area, now would be a great time to get some opening day tickets for the Pittsburgh Pirates from our friends at Game Time. They got the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to shop around on like 5 different ticketing apps. We all know how annoying that is and how time-consuming that can be. Game Time has the lowest price guarantee, so you don't have to worry about getting the lowest price. And then also, if you're somebody who likes to get tickets last minute, they have flash deals right before game time, so you can get your tickets at an even lower price the closer you wait to the start of your event. Game Time is the only ticketing app that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase, which is why it is the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States of America. See the view from your seat before you buy, another great feature on their super easy to use interface on their app, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the arena. Take the guesswork out of buying your tickets today with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. One word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom right of your screen for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Number 6 on my list, I've got the behemoth right tackle out of Alabama, J.C. Latham. I have a late round grade on him. He might slip into the early slots of day 2 and round 2 there, just because he is a bit raw as a pass protector. But man, this guy's a behemoth. He is a nasty run blocker on the right side. And honestly, I'm not completely taking him out of the picture at number 20 for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because he is exactly what they are looking for at that position. Then at number 7, we got Tyler Guyton, another guy with a great profile. Long arms, moves really well, a great frame. There's a reason why Daniel Jeremiah called him one of the big winners of the Senior Bowl before he even hit the field. I mean, he was awful in the one-on-ones, and he's extremely raw. He's going to take a little bit of time, which is why I don't think the Steelers should pursue him. But I have him at number 7 overall because he's got an all-pro ceiling at right tackle, and I think he's going to go probably early on round 2. Then we got Jordan Morgan at number 8, a probably true left tackle. Don't really see him moving over to the right side. He's more of a pass-protecting left tackle. A limited ceiling here, but I think he's ready to play on the left side on day 1 in the National Football League. That's going to be extremely valuable. I think he goes late round 1, early round 2. Then we got Blake Fisher out of Notre Dame at number 9. Round 2 for me here. Somebody that's probably only going to be able to play on the right side, but his tape is actually pretty darn clean. I think he could start right away. So if you're the Steelers and you want to go center in round 1, for example, take Jackson Powers-Johnson. If Blake Fisher's there for you in round 2, I would certainly think about pulling that trigger on day 2. Then I got Kieran Ameji. I'm probably just completely butchering that, guys, but he's out of Yale, number 10 offensive tackle on my board. Very similar to Jordan Morgan and Blake Fisher, where maybe the ceiling is a little bit capped, but he's somebody that I would probably trust to play right away. I got a round 2 grade on him as well. Now make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you want more draft target videos for different positions, wide receiver, center, all these different cornerback, all these different positions the Steelers need to address. If you want positional ranking videos for those positions as well, make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon right now. Then number 11, I got Christian Jones out of Texas. I have a round 3 grade on him. Probably a true right tackle here, and he's somebody that I do trust to potentially start right away. Now, I think he's one of those guys where you just don't hand the job over to him. He's going to have to, he's going to have to take his lumps in camp, and he's going to have to earn his stripes in the preseason. But I like the physical profile there. I like his technique. He was the best overall right tackle in the class at the Senior Bowl this year. Did the best in the one-on-ones out of any tackle in Mobile this year. So I really like Christian Jones' skill set, and I'd love for the Steelers to add him if they get the opportunity. Then I got Patrick Paul out of Houston. Another guy that has a really good physical profile, but he's very raw, both as a run blocker and as a pass protector. Patrick Paul has a lot of work before he can even hit the field as a starting tackle in the National Football League. Because of all that work, I have a round 3 grade on him as a pure developmental type tackle. I really don't think the Steelers should bring him on because I think the Steelers need somebody to start right away. And then similarly, Kingsley Suamataya, one of my favorite names in this year's NFL draft class, and he's certainly somebody that I think could be a really good player in this league someday, a really good profile, but he still has a little bit of a ways to go, at least in my opinion. Right now, I have a round 3 grade on Suamataya. Some guys are higher than him because of his physical profile, and I understand that. But personally, I think that he's more of a developmental guy that shouldn't be thrown into the fire right away in his NFL career. Now, who's your guy? Let me know down there in the comment section. Which offensive tackle do you want to see playing in black and gold next year? Let me know down there in the comments section. Is there somebody that I missed on my list? Let me know down there in the comments section how you feel about this position heading into 2024. And that'll be it for today's show, guys. I appreciate all of your support. For more Steelers draft content, just like the stuff that we had today, we got even more of this coming over the next month or so, leading up to the big day in Detroit. And then we're also going to be going live for round 1 of the 2024 NFL draft, where the Steelers will take probably a center or an offensive tackle at number 20. It's going to be a party here on Steelers Talk, so make sure you click that subscribe button right now for the most extensive Steelers draft coverage right here on YouTube. All right, we got some Super Chats rolling in here, Coop. You want to read that while I take a drink?
Yes, indeed. $5 Super Chat from Meech. Any chance the Steelers trade up or down in the draft? Of course there's a chance.
There's always that chance, especially if like a guy like Roma Dunze starts falling, or if like Alufa Shanu starts falling. You know, if there's somebody that the Steelers are absolutely in love with that starts falling, I think Omar Khan showed last year he's not afraid to make that move up.
Yes, absolutely.
I will say, though, right now you have tackle, center, corner, and wide receiver. If you don't make any more moves in free agency or trade, you have to address those 4 things. And you have to get starters for those 4 positions. All right, you only have 4 picks in the first 3 rounds. So I don't. If you go into the draft still needing all 4 of those positions, I don't think they trade up at all.
Yeah, I think
because you're gonna have to get, unless you're giving up future draft picks, which is not something I'm willing to do.
Like you said, unless they have a guy like Fashanu who maybe is in the top 10 on their board and he's still available at say 13 or something.
Yeah.
At that point, they might go get him. But other than that, I really don't.
And if they do trade up, I don't see them paying like a premium price. Like they paid a really good price to move up for Broderick last year. They didn't overspend.
No, they didn't.
They didn't overpay to move up. So I think Khan is probably gonna have a similar mindset this year. But also, like say, I think they're really targeting Amarius Mims and Talisi Fuaga. Let's say both of those guys are gone at number 20, but you don't want to take a center as early as number 20.
Then maybe you trade down.
Maybe you trade down, and then like you see if Jackson Powers Johnson falls to you, or you see if J.C. Latham is still there at like 25, 26, right? So that's certainly possible. With Omar Khan, who loves to be aggressive, who loves to make these trades. Again, he traded up and down last year in the NFL draft. I'd say anything is possible.
That's kind of what Ricky Campbell said with his Super Chat. He said, do you think Omar Khan still has something up his sleeve? Wouldn't surprise me. Probably he's the con artist.
I mean, I'm hearing rumors that they're trying to acquire a star wide receiver before the draft.
Sources.
I don't know if that's Ayuk. I don't know if that's Debo. I don't know if that's Terry McLaurin. I've just heard watch out for a big wide receiver trade. That's what I've heard. That's what the whispers are telling me. Now, I mean, it's going to depend on a lot of things. Compensation, what player they're getting. Like, it's no guarantee that they're going to make a big trade for a receiver. But if they can get a good deal on, say, like a Brandon Ayuk, they're going to take that deal.
Yeah, and they should.
And they should, absolutely.
Shout out to Jeff J.
Jeff J, what's up, man? First time super chatter. Let's give him some Ric Flair drip. Woo! Says, hey, I'm new to the chat. If we go right tackle, do you think Broderick Jones is ready to be a staple at left tackle? The Steelers certainly think that.
Yeah, the Steelers have said that they want to move Broderick over there eventually. Whether that means this year, whether that means in 2 years, who knows? But they view Broderick as their left tackle of the future.
Yeah, and that's why you traded up for him, right?
Exactly.
So I do think that Broderick is eventually going to move over there. Is he going to be polished enough to be a good pass protector on that side? That's still to be determined, man. Like, that's still conjecture at this stage. Because last year he was more of a run blocker, right? He was more of like a bruising right tackle.
And he was good at it.
I mean, the Steelers' run game was absolutely terrible when Chukwuma Okorafor was in there.
And then they put Broderick in it immediately.
Immediately better when they put Broderick in there.
Immediately.
So, like, is it possible that Broderick is just better as a right tackle? Yeah, it's actually very possible because he's still raw as a pass protector.
Absolutely, but at the same time, and I think this is how the Steelers feel, I think you need to see if he can do it at left tackle or not.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You need to see it.
And if
he can't, you move him back to right.
And it would suck if, like, you move him over to left and you draft a right tackle like an Amarius Mims or Talisi who can only play right tackle, and now it's like we got 2 right tackles and no left tackles.
Oh, I know. That would
like
be crazy.
that would be awful. But I really do think at this point, I think they want to move Broderick over, and I think that's an indication that they believe in the young man. So if they believe in him, I believe in him. Hopefully he can be a mainstay over there.
This is such bad timing, but Pittsburgh Steelers fan. But guess what? Live stream just stopped pulling the supers.
No way!
So we'll get it up as soon as we can.
Pittsburgh fan
Shout out.
412 just put in a $50 super chat.
Everyone spam 412.
Everyone spam 412.
Let's go, baby.
Pittsburgh fan, I'm sorry we can't pull your super chat because our software is just bugged out on us.
Bugged out as soon as you broke our software, Pittsburgh fan.
But he asks, how far do you have to trade back to acquire an extra second-round pick?
An extra second?
At least a couple spots. At least 5 or 6, right?
That would be my guess.
You'd have to be in like the area of like 25 to 32.
Right. I agree. Yeah.
And teams aren't just like giving away their second-round pick willy-nilly. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
So like you have to move down a couple spots. But good question there, Pittsburgh fan. We'll get your super chat up as soon as Coop gets it going. I see David Bowers down there. I see Sheldon. I see Joe L. I see Meech. We got over 300 people watching live around the world right now.
I think I'm big.
Shout out to Damian Roy, Blissy, Fernando, Anthony Fuller is here. Anthony, are you entered into the raffle, my friend?
Oh, Anthony is in multiple times.
Anthony is in multiple times. All right, I wanted to make sure King Yinzer was in the raffles today.
Indeed.
So, by the way, speaking of that raffle, we got one more segment to go. I've got my 5th 7-round Steelers mock draft to share with you guys today, switching it up a little bit from last week where I took Amarius Mims. And then after that, we're going to be raffling off this sign from Hexhead. It's a multi-dimensional Steelers sign. It's made out of pure metal. All right, so you got that background there, which got all the Super Bowl numbers on there. I think that's awesome. It's got the here we go, all that. And then they also have an additional piece, which is the helmet. It's a separate piece that latches on there, so it's 3-dimensional. It's super cool. $10 is all it takes to enter into the raffle.
We already got a bunch of entries.
We've already got a bunch of entries, so if you want a chance to win that here, we're going to be raffling that off after our next segment coming up soon.
All right.
Okay. We ready to get into this last segment here?
We'll get into your last segment, and then 412, we will get your super chat up. Software should be good to go by then. And then we'll do our raffle to see who wins this dope sign.
So Pittsburgh fan 412, don't fret. We will get your super chat up on screen after this segment. Thank you so much for your support. You just got yourself 5 raffle entries to win this sign, Pittsburgh fan. You're a real one. And I'll just throw this out there, all right? Pittsburgh fan 412, another $50 super chat, and you join Steelers Talk Gold Club for life. Get a shout out on every show, and you get a Steelers Talk Gold Club sticker next to your super chats for life. So $50 away from Gold Club for Mr. Pittsburgh Steelers 412. Appreciate you so much. All right, Coop, let's get into this final segment here so we can get to the raffle and we can get these people home. All right, let's get into this mock draft coming at you right now. My Steelers 7-round mock draft 5.0 coming at you right now. It's another week and yet another 7-round Steelers mock draft from us right here on Steelers Talk. This is my 5.0 version where we're about a month away from the start of the 2024 NFL Draft, and things are getting spicy in Steelers Nation. Now, if you want more draft content from me on Twitter or Instagram, I put out a bunch of stuff on there, draft analysis, scouting reports, highlights, all that great stuff. I'm actually going to be putting out my newest full first-round mock draft for the NFL on my Twitter in the coming days. So make sure you guys go check me out right now at Jack_Sperry and at SpareDog.football on Instagram. I also post channel updates pretty much every single day on there. And then also I put up a bunch of Steelers updates as well. So if you send me your Steelers mock draft, I will respond to it on Twitter or Instagram. Appreciate every single one of you guys that gives me a follow. So now let's start with round one here. And I took Jackson Powers-Johnson in my first mock draft this year. And I haven't taken him in the first round since. So I figured it's time to get back to this scenario where the Pittsburgh Steelers take center out of Oregon, JPJ. Now, keep in mind here, I do think the Pittsburgh Steelers would rather go with an offensive tackle as opposed to go with Jackson Powers-Johnson at number 20. Offensive tackle is seen as more of a higher value position, and I don't think Dan Moore Jr. is the solution that the Steelers are looking for at either left or right tackle, depending on what they do with Broderick Jones. So if a Talisi Fuaga or an Amarius Mims is sitting there in round one, I do think that one of those guys is going to be the pick, because those guys are really, really good run blockers that have a lot of upside as pass protectors on the right side. That would allow them to move Broderick Jones over to left tackle, and then they would address center probably in round two. But in this scenario, let's say Amarius and Talisi get taken and they're not available. Well, in that case, then I don't think J.C. Latham or Tyler Guyton is worth this pick, so I would take JPJ. All right, so this is a scenario where the top two offensive tackle options for the Steelers at right tackle are off the board. In that case, if you can't trade down, I would take Jackson Powers-Johnson, the best center in this year's draft class, with the number 20 overall pick. Now, let me know down there in the comment section for today's pinned comment, would you be happy if the Pittsburgh Steelers took Jackson Powers-Johnson in round one? Simply give me a yes or no for today's pinned comment. YouTube's going to throw an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. When that happens, take advantage of that time, but give me a yes or no down there in the comments. Then we get to round two here, and we're going to go wide receiver with Roman Wilson out of Michigan, who was one of the studs at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. Of course, Mike Tomlin loves to be involved in those drills. He loves to be involved with the players and interact with them. And he is somebody that has had a relationship with Roman Wilson, even going back to high school. All right, so Roman talked about that at the Combine, where he's talked with Mike Tomlin a ton over the years. It seems like Tomlin is really enamored with Wilson's approach to the game. He's 6 foot, just shy of 200 pounds, so he's not the biggest guy in the world, but his effort in run blocking is phenomenal. He is a great run blocker there at Michigan. They ran the football a ton. I think he is a perfect fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listen, man, along with that run blocking and that size and that strength, he's got great route running ability and some of the most secure hands in the class. If he's available at number 51 and in this deep wide receiver class, I think he might be, I could certainly see Mike Tomlin pounding the table to make Roman Wilson a Pittsburgh Steeler. Now coming up here, rounds 3 through 7. for my Steelers Mock Draft 5.0. But before I get into that, I want to tell you about today's sponsor at Game Time, which is the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Guys, Pittsburgh Penguins hockey is getting going right now, middle of the season there. And then also PNC Park with the Pittsburgh Pirates, man. MLB baseball is back, and you can go check it out at the best ballpark in America. Game Time is the only ticketing app in the United States that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchases with a lowest price guarantee. See the view from your seat before you buy with that awesome, user-friendly app interface that they have, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive at the arena or at the stadium. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply, and create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Now we go to round 3 here, pick number 84. And because this is such a deep offensive tackle class, I think that some of these guys may fall. And I think something that could work out in the Pittsburgh Steelers' favor is getting Blake Fisher, right tackle out of Notre Dame, in round 3. Now this might be a little bit of wishful thinking, but right now there's so many good offensive tackles in this year's class. I have somebody like Blake Fisher, who I have a round 2 grade on as my number 9 ranked offensive tackle in this year's class. So is it possible that he could fall to round 3 here, right into the lap of the Pittsburgh Steelers? Absolutely, and I think Fisher is the type of guy that can be plug and play at right tackle right away to start his career. So right here off the bat, we get the starting center and Jackson Powers-Johnson, a number 2 receiver for Russell Wilson and Roman Wilson, and then we get a starting right tackle right out of the box here in Blake Fisher, who I think could be the starting right tackle here in Pittsburgh for the next decade. Then also in round 3, number 98, let's go and get a slot corner here in Jarrian Jones out of Florida State. Now, you guys have seen me mock Renardo Green to the Pittsburgh Steelers quite a bit here as an outside corner, but it seems like the Steelers really like Dante Jackson on the outside. And even though I still think it's possible that the Steelers could move Jackson into the slot, he's got the body type for it, Jarrian Jones kind of fits what Mike Tomlin loves to see from that slot defender. He's almost 200 pounds, so he's got great size for a nickel defender. He's a great blitzer, sticky in coverage. I think this guy is a day one contributor as your starting slot corner. And then your starting corners look like Joey Porter Jr. at your number 1, Dante Jackson, a very aggressive, speedy corner at number 2. And you got Jarrian Jones, a great blitzer, and overall very good slot corner in this year's NFL draft class to round out your room. I think that's something that the Steelers can work with, especially working behind that elite pass rush that they have. And then in round 4, I have the Steelers taking Gabe Hall, defensive tackle out of Baylor, a great pass rushing upside with a guy like Gabe Hall. He's tested in the 92nd percentile in total relative athletic score at the combine this year. This guy can move. This guy has strength. He's got the measurables that you look for, and that's something that I think Mike Tomlin, who consistently talks about traits and pedigree, as something that he's going to see, and he's like, you know what, this guy could be my replacement for Cam Hayward or Larry Ogunjobi in the future. I think Gabe Hall would probably come in as a rotational piece right away, kind of take the spot that Armon Watts filled along this defensive line in 2023. But eventually, I think that he has all the talent in the world to eventually fill out a starting defensive tackle spot for the Steelers in the years to come. So make sure you guys click that thumbs up icon if you want more Steelers mock drafts from us here at Steelers Talk all throughout the 2024 offseason. Really do appreciate all of your support. These are some of the most fun videos I get to do. So if you want to see more of them, click that thumbs up icon right now. Then we'll go to number 178 here in round 6. JT Bertrand out of Notre Dame. I really like Bertrand's game. I think that, he's a bit undersized for sure. He's going to be, I don't think he's ever going to be a 3-down starter in the league, which is why he's going to be going this far down the draft board. But he's somebody that's extremely tough. He's very intelligent, and he can be trusted as kind of like a nickel-type linebacker that comes in on obvious passing situations. I really think that this guy has that kind of skill set to work out in the National Football League. And, he might not be the best athlete either, but, man, super intelligent, super tough player that's really good in zone coverage as a pass defender. So I would love to get Bertrand out of Notre Dame in round 6. Then, and also in round 6 here, MJ Devonshire. I've mocked Devonshire to the Steelers a couple of times already this offseason because I think he fits the play style for what the Steelers want. All right, you get Jarrian Jones as your starting slot corner earlier in this draft, but MJ Devonshire is somebody that could take over for Dante Jackson eventually. The thing with Devonshire is that, lots of interception production, a super aggressive guy, but he can get burnt, right? He's susceptible to double moves. He's not the best. He doesn't have the best coverage skills in the world. There's a reason why Devonshire is going this far low. But a top 30 visit for Devonshire with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're obviously interested in him in the later rounds. And I think he'd be a good fit here for Mike Tomlin's defense. And who knows, he might even develop into a potential starter for this team in the years to come. So here's my mock draft 5.0 haul. I have Jackson Powers Johnson at number 20 to be the new starting center for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Roman Wilson as that option in round 2 as a receiver. Super versatile, fits this offense, and he has a personal connection with Mike Tomlin already. Blake Fisher to be your new right tackle. Jarrian Jones to be your day 1 starting slot corner. Gabe Hall to be a rotational piece on day 1 that could potentially turn into a starting defensive tackle. J.D. Bertrand, an inside linebacker from Notre Dame, to come in a rotational role on third downs. And then MJ Devonshire, a developmental cornerback prospect that probably sits year 1, but could develop into a starter in the years to come. So make sure you guys grade my mock draft down there in the comments section, A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know what you guys think down there in the comments section. And make sure you guys go give me a follow on Twitter/X at Jack_Sperry on Twitter. And send me your Steelers mock drafts, man. I love getting those messages from you guys saying, hey, what do you think about my mock draft? Hey, what do you think about this? I really do appreciate when you guys reach out to me on Twitter, and I do my best to make sure I get back to everybody that I can. So I really do appreciate you guys. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now. And until next time, here we go, Steelers. Oh, the newest Gold Club member!
Pittsburgh fan, 412.
Do we have his other one as well?
We do indeed.
All right, Pittsburgh fan just made the helmet.
He said, just to be sure, I should already be one. But just to be sure, you're in. Pittsburgh fan, 412.
Let's go. Says I should already be in the Gold Club, but just to be sure. I appreciate you, Pittsburgh fan.
Let me add those entries to the raffle as well.
By the way, 10 raffle entries to potentially win that sign. So Pittsburgh fan, seems like he really wants that sign from Hexhead here. And you know what? I'm going to put a shot clock on for 3 minutes here. 3 minutes. Every $10 that you spend is a raffle ticket. And you know what? I'm actually going to split the price. For the next 3 minutes, $5 super chats will get you in. All right? Every $5 you spend in the next 3 minutes gets you a raffle entry.
Let's ride.
Last minute deal here. You're not going to want to miss it. Pittsburgh fan 412 says that sign is sick.
It is dope.
I know, man. It's one of the coolest things that we've ever given away on the show, in my opinion. I love it. We might give away another one next month. I love it, man. I think that this is one of the coolest things that we've been giving away. Robert coming in with a $10 super chat.
Shout out, Robert.
That's 2 more entries for Robert. And Robert didn't send a message or anything, so he just wants the 2 entries. By the way, what'd you guys think? Oh, so Nice Tokes is asking, what's the giveaway? Can you show them the picture real quick here, Coop?
Show you the picture?
So we've got a sign, an all-metal sign from our friends at Hexhead here. And it's 3-dimensional. So you got that base back there with the Super Bowl numbers and the here we go, super cool, with the yellow background. And then you have an additional piece, a separate piece that attaches to it with the Steelers helmet. So it's 3-dimensional. So this would be perfect for your Steelers man cave or, even your living room. I mean, I don't know how y'all's wives would feel about that, but I think it looks sick, man. You look at this thing. Sweet. And we've already got a bunch of entries.
Oh, just wait. Look at it.
All right, so here's our wheel right now, folks.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of names on there, man. There's a lot of names, and right now we got a minute left to go. $5 super chats get you in the raffle.
We've shuffled.
We want to give everybody a shot to win this thing. So $5 is all it will take to get in on the raffle. You got 50 seconds to send in those super chats. And by the way, Fernando Martin. Okay, we gotta do a proper one here.
Hang on.
We gotta do a proper one.
Let me build it so I can get it on screen real quick.
Okay.
So hold on, Fernando.
Hold on, Fernando. We'll get to it here in a second.
Don't you worry.
Come on now. Come on, Coop. Hurry up. My man's waiting.
It takes a minute.
Is our software being buggy again?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, god damn it. Software's being buggy again, unfortunately. Is it because of the wheel?
No.
Because, I don't know what's going on, man.
They're trying to shadow ban us is what's going on. All right, Fernando. One moment.
We got it?
Almost.
Almost. Let the suspense wash over you. Let the suspense build.
All right.
We got it?
One moment.
How many times are you going to say one moment?
I will keep saying one moment if you keep asking.
Well, I keep waiting a moment, and you keep saying one moment.
Maybe it's one more moment.
Oh, my goodness. All right. He's Gold Club, by the way.
Oh, I'm aware.
Okay.
He has 100, so he's a Gold Club anyways.
I know. All right. This one's coming in from Fernando Martin. Bang! Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. Here we go, Steelers. Here we go. All right, Fernando. What is that, 20 more entries?
Good God. That's it, by the way. No more entries.
No more entries. No more entries. Fernando capped it off. 20 entries for Fernando Martin. And at this point, I'd feel bad if he didn't win it.
The wheel does not discriminate nor pick favorites.
The wheel does not pick favorites or discriminate. You are right, my friend. Fernando, best of luck to you, my friend. As always, I appreciate your support. Thanks for watching today's show.
All right.
All
and
right.
of course, as soon as we're about to do the wheel, the software starts working again.
Oh, of course it is.
What a joke.
Fernando, you're a real one, my friend.
Shout out, Fernando.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Yep. All right. Here is our wheel. There are literally hundreds of entries on this thing.
I can't even read the names on there.
I can't even read them.
I can see some Fernandos on there. I can see Darkest Light on there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Are we ready to spin this thing?
If you aren't selected, I had nothing to do with it. I promise.
All right. Here we go. Random. Selected at random. All right. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. And they're off. Who's going to win it? Oh, Anthony Fuller! We're not worthy.
Look who was
We're
there.
not worthy.
Fernando was so close.
Oh, was Fernando the next one? Oh, man.
Fernando. Oh, and then Clifford. Shout out. Anthony Fuller, it's yours.
Anthony Fuller, let's go. So Sam says he wants to battle.
Battle for what?
For the sign, I guess, but
It's Anthony's, unfortunately.
yeah, we've already given it away. Congratulations to Anthony Fuller. Fernando is such a good sport down there. Says congratulations, Anthony.
Hey, Fernando, shout out to you, my
and
friend.
by the way, shout out to Fernando for that last-minute $100 super chat. Everybody shout out Fernando in the chat. Congratulations to Anthony Fuller. So Sam says that's an Army term.
Got it.
I got you. So Anthony, are you here? Let us know.
I saw him earlier. We'll give him.
If he's not here, then
we'll give him 24 hours, and then we'll redo.
Well, I want to see if he's in here. Because if he's not in here, we'll just spin again.
He was in here. I literally saw him.
But what if he left?
If he left, he still won it. We'll give him 24 hours to respond, and then if not, we will redo it.
Okay. So this is what I'll say. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Because if Anthony Fuller does not reach out to us, and honestly, I don't know if he even has a Twitter. Like, I don't know if he has my Twitter or anything.
He'll reach out. I'm not worried about that.
You think he'll reach out?
He'll reach out for sure.
Because I'd feel really bad if, like, he didn't know my Twitter or my Instagram and he didn't.
Oh, he'll know. I have faith in Anthony Fuller to reach out.
All right, man. We're gonna have trust in Anthony, but listen, if he doesn't respond in 24 hours,
it's a redo.
It's a redo next week. All right, so make sure you guys come by next week and see if this sign is still up for grabs.
No doubt.
Because if that's the case, we're going to be doing it next week as well, okay? So I appreciate every single one of you guys. Shout out to Fernando. Shout out to Pittsburgh Fan 412. Shout out to Anthony Fuller. And shout out to every single one of you that is in the comment section today. This was a really fun show. We will see you guys next week. And until next time, Coop, got anything you want to say?
Here we go, Steelers.
Here we go, Steelers. All right, that's going to be it for today's show. We'll see you next time. And until next time.